I've met quite a few people this way, and at the very worst, as long as you obviously be sensible, you're meeting in a public place. If you don't like it, you never need to see them again. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Nigerian in London. If you are new here, welcome. If you are not new here, thank you so much for coming back. My name is Dabi, and on this channel we talk about all things London. Whether you are planning to move to London, you're already in London, or you're just trying to figure out how to navigate the city and life in the city, this channel is for you. So one of the most common things people talk to me about when they move to London is actually figuring out how the heck to make friends. In a city that is so big, you would think it would be so easy to make friends. But when you think about it, you've probably left your country or your city with all your friends and family, and you're moving to a new place, and at that moment in time you might be the only one who's new and trying to navigate this city at that point, at least kind of in your circle of influence or circle of people you know. So I'm going to share some tips today on how to make friends in London. I will admit I don't have some insane number of friends, but that's more just because of my personality type. I am a massive introvert and do most things by myself, but I do have a number of amazing friends. So on to the tips on making friends in London. So first things first, leverage the network or the people you already know, whether that be on social media or in person. So thinking about kind of the social media route, feel free to slide into someone's DMs. Sliding into DMs is not a purely romantic thing. I've slid into people's DMs. I've had people slide into my DMs from time to time. Like, don't be weird about it. I should say that, don't be weird about it. But like, if you've been following someone for a while and you know how online sometimes maybe like you comment on each other's videos or pictures or whatever, feel free to just drop them a message someday, and like if you know they live in London obviously, and ask if they want to catch up over, or rather meet over a tea or a coffee or a drink, like at a bar or something like that. It doesn't need to be like a whole thing, or alternatively you can just start kind of sliding into their DM and having a conversation from time to time, and then building up to asking them out, but not in a romantic way necessarily obviously, but just asking to catch up. Actually, I've met quite a few people this way, and at the very worst, as long as you obviously be sensible, you're meeting in a public place. If you don't like it, you never need to see them again. That's the good side to that. Going back to leveraging your network in person, if you've moved here for school, you probably have other people who are in your school, in your university. Feel free to start up a chat with them. So you can start off with like something school related, or if you kind of notice they have an interest outside of that, outside of school, that you have in common, feel free to just start a chat about that, and then you can build off of there. And like, again, always remember, if like you're not feeling someone's vibe, you can just like not continue with that. That's totally fine. On the other end, kind of the last kind of section in terms of building on your network, I will say, I know it's a pain in the butt, but you know, if when you're at work and they ask if you want to go out for drinks, go out for the drinks, because how else do you want to connect with people? Believe me, I know, especially as a black woman, I feel like sometimes it is out of our comfort zone to go like hang out with people after work, when you've been around them for like the last 8 hours. But I promise you, you will usually find a different side to people outside of sending emails and work related stuff, and just let your hair down. You can have a drink. Usually when people have drinks, obviously they're a lot less tense, a lot less in that like work state of mind, and it's a really easy way to kind of build a relationship from there. Obviously, I will say, as someone who is an absolute lightweight when it comes to alcohol, please do not go around getting drunk around work, people. That's a bad idea, okay? If you know you can't drink, order a lemonade. But yeah, don't let that discourage you from going out to get drinks with people, even if it's not all the time, just once in a while, out of your comfort zone. Remember, we're keeping an open mind. Another tip I have is an app called Meetup. Now, this is something even I have used myself. Meetup is an app that kind of allows people with different types of interest to come into the same kind of group or space, and they tend to have physical meetups from time to time. So whether that be knitting, sewing, book clubs, dog meetups, like literally cryptocurrency, like whatever it is, there's probably a meetup out there for it. So check out the app Meetup, and you might just find a group of people who have a similar interest to you, and you can tag along on their next in-person meetup. Building off of that, kind of meeting up in person but not necessarily using the app, I would say if you have an interest in something around where you live, feel free to actually just go up and sign up for it, and there will be other people there, if that makes sense. So a couple of examples I would say is, I know we have for me, I keep talking about books because I'm really into books. So we have a local library around me, and we have a few local libraries actually. We have a bookstore, and I know both of them run book clubs, so that's an amazing way to meet people if that's what you're into. If that's not what you're into, if it's like football for instance, find out where people meet up for football around you, and you can always join in, and that way you're able to meet more people. It could be tennis for instance. I know in my local park there is like a tennis court, and people go there to play tennis, and that's a really easy way to meet other people. For me, it's really funny. One way I've met people recently, well, relatively recently, is actually through just having a dog, because it turns out the same way people think Londoners will like never talk to you as a stranger, turns out if you have a dog, everyone and their mum who loves dogs will stop and have a chat with you, which I actually find really nice. In our local park, there's lots of other dog parents, and we all go there in the morning, watch the dogs run around, go crazy, and burn all the energy off before we start work, and just usually have a chat before starting the day. It just helps you feel like you're a part of the community. And my last tip would honestly be, when you're out, actually speak. As an introvert myself, and obviously someone who moved here not really knowing anyone, I would say it's really easy for you to want to just, even when you're brave enough to go out, want to still keep to yourself or keep to the corner or just keep quiet because you're like, oh, I don't have anything to say or whatever. But at the end of the day, how are people meant to get to know you? The best way for people to know you is when you speak, and that way they're able to connect with you, whether it be laugh at your jokes or be able to relate to what you're saying, or really just be on the same wavelength with your ideas or whatever you're talking about. So it is probably a pain in the butt, but try your best to actually speak when you're out. It helps people connect with you. And that is it for today's video. I hope you have found it very helpful. And if you think there are any other ways that people can make friends in London that I have missed, feel free to drop your suggestions in the comment section below. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.